Hey everybody, welcome back to Active Self-Protection. It's Neil out here on the Widener Range, recreating some of the shooting problems that we see on some of the videos from our main channel.
Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video.
So this next one that we're gonna do, folks, is a badge cam. It's a recent badge cam that we saw out of New York. Hopefully Thomas has got this patched in here, and maybe you're just hearing my voice and seeing this. But what happened was there was a 911 call or a call out for law enforcement to go out to an apartment where they walked in and they were trying to put a guy in custody. Guy didn't want to be put in custody. We can talk about all of that other stuff here, but what I want to talk about is the shooting problem. It's that little itty bitty bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I said, look, don't grab. Look, let me get my,
No, we talk. Put your hands behind your back.
I got you. What's going on? What's going on?
You got my gun. You got my fucking gun. Shoot him.
When the fight started, as they tried to put this guy into custody, our guy, and again, I don't want to assign good versus bad because I don't know who's who in this scenario, but of course you've got law enforcement on one side. We assume that's the good guys. I don't know that this guy was a bad guy, but he sure didn't want to go to jail that day, right? So he made a pretty poor decision and he grabbed one of the guns from the law enforcement guys. He didn't have a gun on himself as far as we can tell, but he did grab one of the cops' guns and he pulled the trigger twice. So the gun went off twice. Now there were multiple cops there in the room. They were wrestling with him and one of the officers drew a pistol and started shooting their service pistol, started shooting. Now two of the cops got shot as well. Now the story is that the two shots that our bad guy got off hit the cops, but boy, watching the video, it sure doesn't look like it. It looks like potentially there was some friendly fire going on there. And when you've got people wrestling around, most of us are not gonna have people wrestling around on the ground that we need to walk up and shoot. However, I do know of at least one private citizen that I know personally has had to make that shot. So it can happen. So can you do it? Can you avoid our friendlies, and the way that we can recreate this on the range is we can put up multiple targets and designate which ones are the friendlies. Now in this case here, I think you can see I've got a B8 right here in the middle because there wasn't much space for them to shoot. So I'm going to call this friendly person, and this is the guy that needs to be shot that is actively fighting and shooting. Now they were standing very, very close, but one thing that I did notice was some of the shooting was one-handed by law enforcement. And again, I totally respect law enforcement. I support them. I haven't been in the position to have to make those decisions. But man, if you can get both hands on the gun, get both hands on the gun. And when two other people are wrestling or three other guys are wrestling with him, put two hands on the gun and pull the trigger that way, because I think you'll be more accurate. So let's get down here and I'm gonna kind of show you from a close up. I think I ran out of staples. So this is blowing around. That might be even better because there was a lot of movement there. So this one can move a little bit, but this, so this is basically the 10 ring, and I got about a 1/4 inch on either side that I can shoot into the 9 ring, and that's where I am. Now, again, I can't recreate the movement. Potentially, I could get a target that moves and do all of that kind of stuff. It just depends on how far you want to go with this and how far you can go and what your resources are. If you want to go get one of them little robot target things, man, I need a sponsor. I need them guys to sponsor us, and I do this all the time. But from the average range, what you can potentially do if you're in an indoor range and you only have one lane is you can just designate that this, you know, this side of the A is a friendly and this side is a friendly, and you've got to shoot in the middle, those kind of things, or you've got to shoot just the head or just the pelvis or whatever. You designate that on one target. If you've got a little bit bigger area and can put up multiple targets, then this is a potential way to do it. Again, do you and have some fun with it, but find out what your capabilities are and where you're at. So if you ever find yourself in that position, you can do something about it. Or maybe you decide, hey, I'm not going to do something about it. I've got to have a contact shot to make this actually work. Okay, so I'm just going to start. They were pretty close, probably within 2 yards. So I'm standing here at about 3. My ears on, make sure I've got gun. Yeah. Now the draw was taken out of it, and all they had to do was press out one-handed and shoot. Now that one was an X because I was actually able to sit here and do this, but there wasn't really a time constraint on this. Now there is a potential bad guy shooting at you. So yeah, I think he was probably a bad guy. By the time he started pulling the trigger, he for sure was, right? But there's somebody pulling a trigger trying to kill your friends, family, loved ones, whatever the case may be. But if you can't make the shot, don't make the shot and kill your friends, family, or loved ones. That's the point of this. So can you make this shot and see everything that you need to see one-handed? Now I've got 2 right on the X. Okay, this isn't a terrible hard shot and I've got a dot. You can call me a cheater, but this is why. So on my day, I will cheat and use my dot to make sure that I get my shots. Now two-handed, I can get, that was the worst shot of the 3. So that one went down out of the X. So get down here, see all my sights. I can put them in there pretty easy, right? I can put multiple ones in there and not necessarily have to worry about it. But potentially it could be because I'm doing this rep with no stress whatsoever. You know, I'm not second guessing anybody. I'm not calling anybody out from the NYPD or anything along those lines. What I'm saying is, without stress, can you do this? And today, at least today, I can. So my first 2 shots were right here at the bottom of the X. This is everything else in that X. You saw me shooting it one-handed and two-handed. Now, do we want to add some speed to it? And do you want to do a draw? Because potentially we're working on missing friendlies. It's not just that one scenario that you guys just saw, but can we add a, there you go. When we add a draw into it, got a couple more here. And can we add a draw with a little bit of time? If your range allows it, can you? Woo! Now you saw me stop and pause there. And I don't know if you saw on camera, that was a 1.9, so that was a darn near a 2-second draw to first shot. But what happened when I came out, again, hot, sweaty day, it's 90 degrees out. I am sweating and glistening like you wouldn't believe. But when I came out, I saw the 8. I was right here with my dot and I had to correct. It took me to correct for the average shooter takes about 1/4 second. So it was about a 0.25 correction to mean my friendly didn't get shot and my person that needed to get shot did. These are the kind of things that we need to consider and you need to know and understand for yourself. Now, I think I can correct in probably 1.5 or so, just because I do it a lot. If you don't shoot as much as I do, maybe you're closer to that 0.25. If you shoot more than I do, because there's a lot of people that shoot more than I do that can probably do it even faster than that. But understand what you can do and try to work that up and understand it in your practice. What does it take to get that shot? You can do this in dry fire. You don't even need to come down here and do live fire. You can set up 3 targets in your dry fire dojo. The problem there for most folks is they struggle with reading their sights well enough to know. I always use the term brutally honest. We've got to be brutally honest with ourselves as we dry fire. But I think, you know, some folks feel like they're being brutally honest, but they don't read their sights well enough to understand that. That's why I like being able to do something like this live. So I hope creating these problems is fun for you guys as it is for me. It is a little bit hot and sweaty. I'm going to go find some air conditioning before I come out and spray all these thistles up here on my range. I'll see you next time. Thanks.